Hello, 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 hello. Hi, everyone. So today we're going to go live and talk about something that I've been getting quite a few um, questions about. And what is that? Is that moms are, yeah, just moms, basically. 90% of the viewers here are mothers. Hi. And they've been asking me, hey, how do I use flashcards, how to use like posters, those like ABC posters, those flashcards for children. There are a lot in bookstores and online. You can buy it wherever actually, a lot of clinics use it a lot, right? So how do you use those flashcards to teach your child? Okay, so let me just read out the question I got. Basically, it says that, hey Ming, how do you teach? How do I teach my child who to use flashcards to learn about ABCs, numbers, colors, different types of things to learn these things, right? And she says, how can I get rid of the tantrums of his banging his head, right? And the banging head happens whenever she asks the boy to like focus on these learning tools, so called, and he does it every time whenever he tries to get what he wants, right? So what is that? What does that mean to everyone here? Okay, so what you need to understand, right? What you need to understand right now is that first of all, those tools, those cards, those posters, those flashcards, they're not fun. Okay, they're not fun for children. Okay, we used it when we were children. Oh, hi Nabil, how are you? And flashcards aren't fun at all. You have to remember that it's just not cool for a child to use it. And if you've been watching me like for some time now, then you would know when I ask a child to do something, we must have something that they want. Maybe it's like time with you. Maybe it's that they already like hang out with you. Therefore, it's cool to ask them to do anything that you want them to do, right? Or if the relationship with your child right now is that whenever you tell them to do something, they run away, then introducing some flashcards or some posters aren't going to help at all. Okay, so how do you use it? Well, first of all, you need to understand that whenever you're teaching a child something, if you use flashcards, automatically, you need to think to yourself, right? Automatically, you need to think, okay, how am I going to make it so that they will be able to use it? Through this kind of, how they're going to use it everyday life, right? So you have to think about that, right? So flashcards is very difficult for a child to use it in everyday life. Let me give you an example. So if you're learning like for an exam, right? You're using flashcards. What are you using the flashcards for? For taking the exam, right? So when are you gonna use flashcards to learn something that you're gonna use in everyday communication? Very little. Okay, I would tell you very little, and that's because there's no like one set answer to when you should use a certain word or phrase. Yeah. So therefore, a flashcard, it kind of sucks as a learning tool. Okay, because it's only one picture, it's only one word. They can memorize it very quickly. And a parent, actually one of my clients right now, she told me, okay, hey Ming, I've been trying to teach my child how to read. So I got this book for him. Look, it looks like this. And then turns out that the kid memorized the whole thing. He wasn't even reading the words. So you have to be very careful, okay, about using flashcards. All right. And Nabil says here, she learned. My daughter learned pronouns through flashcards. Yeah. Well, there are a lot of things you can learn from flashcards, right? But not every kid is ready to use flashcards, especially those who cannot sit. So Nabil has her daughter is very good at sitting down, right? She's super good. She can sit for 2 hours. She listens. She doesn't have any tantrums. These kind of children, yes, you can use flashcards. In fact, it's kind of easy to teach with flashcards once your child doesn't have these kind of behaviors. Okay, so what if there are tantrums, like you can't get your child to sit down? What should you do, right? So given that they can't sit down, then the first thing you should teach is to teach them to sit down. Okay, and this itself is a huge topic. It's super important that your child knows how to sit down and listen to you. All right, so what you need to do basically is to set up a corner where you use every day. All right, set it there, and so that your child sits there and listens to you whilst sitting on the chair. Okay, and then when you teach them to sit down, you give them like a reward. Okay, maybe only at that table they get to play with the iPad. Maybe at that table they can only eat a certain snack or something. Okay, so once your child is able to sit down at the chair on the table, and then what you can do next is to do some easy tasks, right? Super easy tasks to tell them, hey, you can use this, you can use that, right? Whatever, and that's how. Sorry, I got carried away. Yeah. So you can tell your child to do like very easy tasks, like touching your head or whatever, saying a word, saying a sound, whatever. It's super easy for the child to do. Okay, nothing crazy. All right. So we're still talking about using flashcards, right? So once your child is able to sit down and listen to you, then you can try some flashcards. All right, you can try some flashcards. And how can you make it fun, right? One way to make it fun is to let your child pick the card. Okay, don't just like take out the card for them and teach them like how would you do in a tutoring center, right? If that model worked, you don't need to sit down with your child, right? They can already absorb from tutor centers, from the school. You don't need to do it yourself. Okay, so make it fun. Make them, you can make it out into fan, get them to pick one card, right? That's one way to make it a little funner. The second way is to maybe after they do a certain thing, you can flip the card away. That's what I always do. I flip it into a basket or the corner of a table where I can get it afterwards. And the other thing that you can do right now is basically to put it within another toy. Put the flashcards with another toy. For instance, a thing that I play a lot is a toy called Zingo, which has these cards inside, right? These like plastic cards inside. I don't really call it a coin. It's like a token, right? And you can basically, what makes it fun is just basically you can like slide it up and down, and then you can go like that, and then it comes out of the machine. I don't know what's the better word for it. Okay, so other than that, you can use like just normal flashcards in a way that you would use, for instance, you could add it with another thing, right? So for instance, if you laminated all your flashcards, if they're not like waterproof, you can play with water, right? You can put magnets and paper clips on the flashcards and then make them hang from a string or something. I've done that before. It's kind of fun, but it's also a huge mess. So Angeline says watching from Philippines. Yeah, Angeline, by the way, I sent you an email. Please take a look. I'm so sorry. I messed up a little bit, but please check the email so that it's we can have a conversation there. And let's see. And a Facebook user, sorry. I don't know who you are because I'm using this streaming service thing. Anyways, I'm upgrading my setup here. This person says, any tips on teaching children to speak in sentences, please, Ming? Yeah, there's a whole, I made a whole video on YouTube and Facebook about how you can use gestures to make your child speak in sentences, right? And to tie into today's topic, you can also use flashcards, obviously, but not in the way that people use it, okay? Not in the way that we all just like make a flashcard with sentences and try to make your child read it off, which is impossible if your child doesn't know any of the words there. So what you can do is you make sure that your child knows some of the words. It might be a picture on the flashcard, and use it as visual cues. For instance, if I want them to start to speak in sentences with like a subject and a verb, like for instance, mommy sit, or baby cry, or whatever, like Stephen chops, Stephen cuts, or whatever. These kind of sentence structures, you can have a picture of the person and then a picture of the verb, where the verb is not really that great of a thing to display with a flashcard. It really isn't, because it's like still. But at the same time, you can still use it as long as they know that card means a certain word. Okay. So what I would do is I would put 2 pictures and I would tell them, okay, whoever is cutting, right? You can say Stephen cuts, right? Baby sleep, like that. You can use flashcards. Another way is what I like the most, because I don't need to prepare anything, is to use gestures. So you need to teach your child some gestures first. All right. And how would you do that? How would you do that? For instance, verbs are the best with gestures, right? So if you want to do sleep, this is sleep, right? You can do sleep, or this is sleep. Doesn't matter. Depends on your culture. And then you can use that gesture to link things up together. So I'm guessing that when you ask this question, it means that, oh, that's actually Kathleen, right? So Kathleen asked, how do I make this, make it into a sentence? So you can, I'm sure that it's still one word by word, right? One word by one word. And what happens is that when it's one word by one word, when he says that first word, you give the cue of the gesture and also the word together. So let's say that when you're, I don't know, washing something, the kid says wash, right? But they don't talk about what he or she is washing. Then you can tell him, yeah, wash, and then you point with the gesture at that thing that you're washing, and then you can say carrot or whatever, like knife, whatever. So you can wash, knife. Yeah, that's right. Washing the knife. Good. Like that. So you need to make sure that they know either what the picture you're using as a cue or the gesture you're using as a cue, and then you add it together when they stop with the one word. Okay, I'm guessing that's what you mean. Okay, so I see Anita says, I'm just going to show it here. Doesn't say your name. I don't know why, but probably because it's in the group, right? If my child is still learning one word, do you think if I quiz her which one is the book, which one is the pencil, is it a correct way to use flashcards? I would say not really. How I would use flashcards basically is, let me tell you, okay, Anita, this is something that you can use right now, and this is what I use, how I use flashcards too. And it's great that you asked this question because I was about to talk about it anyways. So basically, when it comes to flashcards, you need to have an ending, right? You need to have an ending. They need to know when you're going to stop using those cards to make their lives terrible, right? So you need to tell them when it's going to stop. And how we do that is we put on the table. Let's say this is a table, right? We're looking down. We're looking down onto the table, this square, okay? And then you need to put a few pictures here, right? Maybe you can start off with 4, okay? And this is super easy because all they need to do is to listen and to show that they understand by taking it. So you put 4 pictures on the table like that, and then you take out your hand. And Anita, what you would say is something like, okay, give me the book, or like book. Depends on your child's level. For your child, you should only use one word. So once you put your hand out, you say book, and you take her hand and then grab the picture or the what's that called? The flashcard with the book on top. You grab that and you put it on her hand, and then that's right. That's 1. 3 more, right? And then you keep on going. Pencil, all right? Good. Pen, good. And then the last one, obviously you don't need to talk. There's only 1 left. So then they're only absorbing. It's super easy for them. It's crazy easy. So you can just tell her like the name of it. You don't even need a prompt because that's the only one that's left. So she gets it. And then you point at the table and you say finished, and you give her something to play, or like you tell her they can go now, or anything that makes them happy. Okay, so this is how I would use flashcards at a very low level. And Anita asks, is actually she's just using a book, right? She's using a book. Oh no, the word is the book. I'm sorry. Yeah. So if you're using flashcards, you can use that in the beginning to let them understand. This is how I do it as well. And what kind of things I do, right? Can I share my screen? Wait a minute. I think I can. So I'm going to let you guys look at what kind of flashcards I use myself that I've been giving my clients and stuff. Yeah. So let me share my screen first. Share screen. Yeah. Okay, cool. Share. All right, now you're looking at me on my screen. So let's go here. So I would basically make a bunch of um, flashcards about this. So let's say that I'm teaching like the where question, right? The where question. So I'm teaching a where question, but obviously, even if your child understands the word where, he doesn't understand. He doesn't have enough vocabs to actually answer you, right? Even if you ask something they do understand. Let's say that I tell you, right? Where's the place where you develop photos, right? Like photos. If you don't have the knowledge that it's called a black room, you would know what it is, but you cannot answer me. You get what I mean? So even if you understand what I'm telling you, you don't have the vocab to tell me. That's why I have to teach the vocabs first, which flashcards are one of the best ways to teach. Okay. And I would use the method I was talking about, right? Put the flashcards on the table. I would ask them, okay, Alpha Mart. This is Indo version, by the way. You have to, this is ones that I have made after I've moved to Indo. But in Hong Kong, these are all different. You know, like this would be 7-Eleven, right? Or like, I don't know, Circle K or whatever. But here it's family, it's Alpha Mart, right? And I would have, this is too slow, sorry. So I would have a few versions of it, right? There's also Indomart. And you see, even for bedroom, I've got 2 pictures. The worst thing you want your child to do is to stick on one picture and just remember that as that thing. So that's why there's 2 bedrooms, so that they know at least 2 pictures. Usually I do like 3 or 4. But you know, as long as I'm using the cards, once they understand, I literally switch it as fast as possible to like videos or like toys. It should be fine. Okay. For even cinema, see, there's inside and outside. I cover it as well. I try my best. And then kitchen, there's like a few types of kitchen. See, like there's this kind, there's the Chinese kind, like in the restaurant, and there's one in like upscale home or whatever. And then the living room, there's like different types. There's 2 malls, you know. There's only one McDonald's for some reason. I don't know why. And restaurant, there's like this kind of like what's that called? A Western one and a Chinese one. And for schools, there's round tables and there's just a floor mat, that kind. So you get the idea, right? When you're doing flashcards, you need different versions of that thing so that they're learning. Okay. Other than where, you can also do who. I do that a lot. And this is just a little bit extra large. There we go. So you see doctor, I've got 3, like preferably in different genders, I hope. This is more Indonesian. You've got drivers here. And policemen, depends on where you live as well. Please choose someone who is where you are from right now, right? And then for these ones as well, make sure that, you know, at least there's some variation, okay? So this is what I would teach, right? This is what I would use it. Let's see. Anita says, "Or did that mean it goes very well?" Yeah, use that. It's great. Someone asks, is it possible to buy these flashcards? No, I just use Google. So let me just show you how I do it. Okay. So sorry. Let me just open a Google tab. You don't need to buy anything from me, or you don't need to buy any of these flashcards. If you have the time, the best way really is to go online, search for it, print it, and then laminate it. Okay. I know it sounds like some crazy stuff, but it's actually not. I'll show you how. Okay. So, wait a minute. I need to share my screen. Share. There you go. No thanks. Okay. So you go on Google and you search for like kitchen, for example, right? And you go to images, right? And then you just literally, you find the one that's most appropriate to you. Let's say you're living in like China, for instance, like Chinese kitchen, and then you would get something like this, which makes more sense. With a walk or whatever. So these flashcards, it needs to be dependent on your cultural background. There are some great cards in the USA, in Hong Kong, in, I don't know, places that make that kind of stuff. The worst thing I've seen is actually people using cards from like the USA or UK or whatever, and using it here, which doesn't make sense at all. Like kids have like blonde hair when everyone has like black hair, which kind of defeats the point. So let me give you an example of one of those. Is this? Nope. Where is it? here. So for instance, this one, I would use this. This is like basically a flashcard, but a high level. This is what we call picture description level stuff, with short sentences. But you would see like all these kids here, they are not Asian. I would not use this if a kid doesn't speak English, you know. So avoid those. The best you can do is to download yourself. And you might say, okay, man, dude, I understand, right? I understand. Download these. It's going to be a hassle to print it, right? Actually, no. This is how you do it. Let me show you. So let's say these are the. Oh, by the way, these are the ones that are from Hong Kong, which are culturally like relevant to us. It kind of looks like this at home in Hong Kong. Okay, you see that Chinese chess people over there. So that would not make sense in your country. So what you would do is you go to there. This is some tech. I'm teaching you some tech stuff here. So you highlight it and then you right click. So preferably you have your printer connected to your computer already. You press print, right? And then here you just like, if you want to put it in fours, right? Just press 4x4 here, and then just print it. And then later on, just cut it with a ruler or something. It literally takes like 3 minutes. And after that, laminate it and cut it again, right? So this is actually quite easy to prepare, okay? Let's say that we go back. Let's say show you some vocabs I prepared for a client. So just transportations, right? There's a whole load of them. You select them all, you right click, you press print. And then what you do is, I like 4x4 because it's just the right size. So if you press like do not fit to picture or fit doesn't matter, then you have uniform, right? You have a uniform thing and you can just stack it together, use a ruler and just cut it with a knife, right? This is super easy, all right? I would not recommend doing something that takes a lot of time because I hate preparing stuff as well. So these are the exact pictures I send to my Indonesian clients, right? Look, even taxi is that thing. You cannot buy this kind of flashcards. It needs to be real, okay? Especially for children who are, obviously, if yeah, that's great. Kathleen, that's right. So, she's in Australia. If she can make every every flashcard has a kangaroo on it. What I mean is like what I just showed you, right? The taxi needs to be the local taxi to make sense. You can't show like a New York yellow cab and teach your kid to to say that it's a taxi, because at the end of the day you're not teaching them to like identify a yellow cab to be a taxi. I don't know what color it is in Aussie for the cabs, but it needs to be like that. All right. I'm sure in Aussie there's a whole load of flashcards on either Amazon or just your local. You can ask your local speech therapist basically, but you always have to start off with real pictures for flashcards, because if you start off with abstract things that you don't understand, it'll be impossible for you to like understand anything. All right, it's really impossible because how abstractness works is that it goes like this. All right, let's hear me out. So first off, it starts off with real life, like just us, right? Real objects like phones, right? Like cups, right? These are like real things. And afterwards, you go to flashcards and you use like something that's a picture of it, right? Use a picture of it because it's already 2D. It's a little more abstract. The next step you go is like one of those kind of like real, but not really like a drawing, but it's kind of like a sketch, but it's real, right? And then you get cartoons, which has more rounded edges and whatnot. And then you go more and more down towards like just line drawings. Those are very abstract. And the last and the most abstract thing you can never do is to use words, right? Because no one understands that kind of stuff until they know how to read and kind of know how to connect the sounds to the words, okay? So don't use flashcards that has too many words in it. It's actually a distraction, all right? In the beginning, if your child is around like 2 to 3, use like cards that are like real life objects. Got it? So yeah, I don't mean you don't need to put a kangaroo in everything, but you gotta find something that is real in your life to use it. Okay, so let's see what else I can share with you. Okay, so flashcards are great. I love flashcards, but you gotta use it the right way. All right, let me show you another one. I'll just share my whole screen. Be right back. So these cards are to teach specific grammatical sentences. So this is what I call just is doing. So for example, here I would teach the boy is drinking water, or maybe no water. I can just say the boy is drinking, right? The girl's drinking. The woman's eating, or mommy's eating, whatever. And then baby's eating, baby falling, old man falling, girl jumping. You get the idea. Like, sorry, I messed up the is here. Sorry, baby is falling. Old man is falling. It depends on what you want to teach, but you have to have this kind of flexibility in your flashcards. It's the best that you can download stuff and do it your own. All right. Of course, it's great if someone made these kind of stuff for you. Okay. And look at all these descriptive pictures that I downloaded. They're all very clean. They don't have much stuff going on in the background. And you know exactly that we're going to describe the thing that we're looking at. Yeah. So this is what I would do. All right. I would always start off with realizing that, flashcards is boring. All right. And realizing that if your child right now cannot sit down with you and listen to you, then don't do flashcards. For God's sake, make sure that they can sit down and listen to you first. And then after that, you can think about doing a lot of doing flashcards, but in a fun way, like letting them choose the cards, flying them around, put them in the shirts, do really funny stuff with it. What I like to do sometimes, especially now, you can get a lot of like alcohol gels, right? So what I would do is I would tell the alcohol hand rub, right? So you can put the alcohol hand rubs on the flashcards if it's laminated, and then tell them to wash it, right? And then once they wash it, they use like a paper towel to wipe it, and then they can tell me what's going on, right? Because now it's clean, right? And they wipe it and say, "Oh, apple, yes, that's right. Okay, next one. Let's wash the cards. Wash, and then take it out, wipe it. What's this? Oh, a banana. Great, that's a banana." And then you can either throw it away or whatever. Make it fun. Okay, don't try to dictate those stuff. All right, it's not SAT time. You're not teaching them vocabs for an exam. You're teaching with flashcards so that they can use it in real life, which is kind of different. So Lakeisha says, let me show it. Doesn't let me see your face because of I'm using a streaming thing. She says, bought a Mr. Potato Head after I recommended it. It works great for body parts. That's great. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, so try this kind of flashcards. All right, it's free. You can download from the internet. It just takes a little of your time. If you have someone that can help you laminate and cut, like an office assistant or something, hallelujah. Go do it. I know a lot of parents who actually have a home office nowadays, and they ask someone to help them out. So it's easy peasy. All right. So you understand that all these cards that I made, right? You can start from like one word. You can target 2 words. You can target a whole sentence. You can target even a story, right? So let me show you some stories I have here, if I can, right? Okay. So let's go back. Stories, where are you? Oh, here. So you can see stories here. This whole flashcard, obviously you need to buy this kind of stuff, right? Oopsies. Okay. Oh man. Okay. I need to stop pressing. Okay, there we go. Okay, I still screwed up. One more time. Okay, good. So you see, this whole thing is more of a Hong Kong context, right? You've got like rice, soup for dinner, and you also got this domestic helper who's, I don't know, it's a little politically incorrect, but she's from Southeast Asia, and this kid is playing a PSP, right? A PlayStation Portable. So this is highly cultural context, but you can try and find some story cards at your own local, I don't know, bookstore. Schools, therapists that are selling these kind of story cards, right? And what you can do here, first of all, is to tell them to put it in order. So what you do is I would print it, right? I would print it, right? And then after I print it, I would cut it all into small little cards, like just cut them up and then laminate them, mix it all up, and then ask your child to like put it in a sequence. Like, oh no, I messed it all up. Can you help me put it back in order? And if they do put it back in order, it means that they actually comprehend each of the cards. If they don't, then what you want to do now is to actually take each of the cards and ask them to describe what's happening, right? If they can't describe what's happening, you're probably at the wrong level. Don't do this. Go back and do something easier. Which one is easier, you might ask? Good question. This one I was showing you. These are the ones that are easier, right? These are real life. These are pictures. I would try this, right? Ask them to describe what's happening, right? First of all, I would ask a few questions so that I know if they understand anything or not. So I ask, hey, where is this, right? If they can't even answer that, then you need to go back to doing where questions first with flashcards or like with toys or whatnot, right? But this isn't what you should teach if they cannot answer you where this is, right? This is pretty easy. Where is it? Kitchen. And then the next question you might ask is, how do you know, right? How do you know? Well, there's a fridge, right? There's a sink. People are washing dishes. There's a stove over here. There's a hot water dispenser. And these are dirty plates. So you would know, right? And then now you can see if they know all the vocabs in here, all right? First of all, you can ask, hey, what is this? Fridge, good. What's this? A sink. What's this thing? Oh, dish soap, whatever. What's this? Dispenser, what's that? I don't know what that is in English. I forgot. That's the problem with being bilingual. You just don't remember stuff. What's this? A stove. Okay. And then next you can ask what's it for. So you can keep on asking, but keep it fun. Okay. For instance, how do you keep it fun? So hey, this stove, you told me, right? That's really good. Well, what is it for? And then if they can't tell you, then you can tell them, oh, it's very hot. You know, when you turn it on, it goes tick, 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 like that. See if they remember, right? Once you give these cues, they might say fire, or like they might say, oh, cooking. And then you'll be like, yeah, that's correct. It's for cooking. Can you pretend, let's cook something together, right? You make it fun. If you have like toys, you can do it together. But usually I just pretend and like make a clown of myself. And then you can ask what they're doing here. And then why are the bubbles, right? Because you use soap. These kind of questions like why and how will let you know how much your child actually knows and actually how much they can answer you. So it's a great way to see what they are made of, basically how much language do they know. And here, for instance, this kid is holding a bunch of like dishes, right? And then you say, okay, why is this boy giving mom dishes? And then he might say, oh, because mom, they have to wash it. And then you might ask again. You say, okay, why do they have to wash it? And then you might ask, he might say, oh, because it's dirty. And then you will ask, hey, how do you know it's dirty, right? How do you know it's dirty? Because there's like stuff around here, there's junk, some like oil and stuff on there. So then once you keep on asking why, how, you understand how much they can get from this picture, all right? If they can't tell you, then you need to teach. You can tell them, oh, look, what's this thing over here? What are these stuff? Oh, it's dirty. Yeah, I know it's dirty, but you know, what is it? And then if they don't know, you can tell them. And if you're at home, you can show them after you do the plates. You can say, see, this is dirty. See, there's oil, there's whatever on it, there's ketchup, there's soy sauce, whatever. And then another question you can ask, see, this one picture I can go on for a long time. Given that your child can sit down and you're making it fun, okay? You're asking questions and being silly at the same time, right? And then another question here, what's the girl doing? Wiping the plate. Why? Because it's wet, right? Oh, how do you know it's wet? Oh, because here, look, it's shiny, it's blue. There's some water on it. Cool, good stuff, right? What is the grandma doing? Putting watermelon in the fridge, right? Why is she doing that? Because she wants it cold, right? Cool. And what if you don't put it in the fridge? See, you're teaching more and more world knowledge, okay? So in this whole picture, after you ask this, and then you can go on to describe it. You can ask, hey, look, mom is washing the dishes, right? Then what's the girl doing? So hopefully they will copy your structure, your language structure, and say, oh, the girl is wiping the dishes. Great. How about this one? The boy is carrying the dishes. Yeah. And this one, daddy is throwing the rubbish. Grandma is putting the watermelon in the fridge. That's slightly longer, right? So you get what I mean, all right? When you use these kind of big cards or posters or whatever you like to call it, it's just a flashcard actually. You can ask questions and see what you're dealing with. Because the difference between you and a therapist is that Nabil knows more knows more words than I do. Yeah, that's a colander or something. I don't know what that is. Yeah. So and she also said, for me, the tickling game worked well for teaching body parts as recommended. I mean, yeah. If you don't know what that is, it's just you tickle each part of the body and you tell your child has to tell you where you want her. No, where she wants you to tickle, right? Hi, Crystal. How are you? And so that's pretty much the end of this video. Okay. This is what I would usually do with flashcards. It might not be like the answer you're looking for, because the best strategy is to like find something that works, buy it, and just use it, right? Like a potato head. It's super useful. But at the same time, you need to understand that sometimes the cards, they're very rigid. You need to cater to how much your child can understand. And how you know that, and what's the difference between you and the therapist, let's say, is that we keep on like seeing where the child is, like trying to assess, trying to know, trying to like guess how much they can understand and how much they can talk. And then we try to find the correct level so that we can teach, right? So that we can teach. So yeah, that's all for now. Remember, if you haven't, you should buy a printer and a laminating machine. And you might say, hey, I don't need to laminate anything. Well, you should, because after you laminate, you can keep it and you can give it to someone else afterwards. And also you can do a lot of fun things with it. You can put in water. You now put paper clips in it. It's much stronger. You can like flip it around. You can put it inside like a toaster toy if you have one. You can do a lot of things with it, right? So remember, do use a laminator. Okay, so that's it for today's live. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And if you have any questions, please just PM me or DM me or whatever. Just put them in the comments here. I will look at it. It'll just take me some time. Okay, and then I'll be answering more questions next Monday at this time. It's 9 p.m. for me in Jakarta. For anyone who is in the USA or whatever, it's actually 10 a.m. EST. 10 a.m. EST. Okay. So with that said, thank you so much, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.